Beware of self-sabotage. Self-sabotage means unconsciously harming and hindering one's own work. We are sabotaging ourselves all the time, and in this text I come to share with you some ways we do this without realizing it. In Romans 7 verse 19, the Apostle Paul says, "For the good that I wish I do not do, but the evil which I do not wish that I practice." Paul himself spoke of a war, which he himself lived sabotaging himself. In Galatians 5 verse 17 he says, "For the flesh lusts against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. They are at odds with each other, so that when the spirit prays, the flesh comes and says sleep," self-sabotage. When you want to seek, the flesh comes and says rest, self-sabotage, the flesh warring against the spirit. According to studies by various masters, including philosophers, psychologists, scientists, theologians, the conclusion is the same. Man's greatest enemy is himself. The Apostle Paul says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can go hungry, but that doesn't shake me. I've been cold, but that didn't affect me. I can survive this persecution too I can go through, but it won't affect me either. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Then self-sabotage begins. God says you can, and you get home and say, "I can't." God says you're going to make it, and you say, "I'm not going to make it." Self-sabotage begins when you self-destruct. Worse than the witch trying to destroy you is when you do it yourself without realizing it. Worse than your enemy saying you're not capable is when you say you're not capable yourself. Worse than your family not believing in you is when you don't believe in yourself. Abraham is old and his wife is barren. His body numbed by time does not interfere with the Bible saying, "I don't look at your age," or it's Sarah's body already numb. "And I believe against hope and was strengthened in faith, giving glory to God." Abraham had everything to self-sabotage, but he reversed the patterns. He didn't look at reality, but at the promise. Instead of not believing and murmuring, he believed and worshiped. We need to do as Abraham did. Remove negative thoughts and put in positive ones. Instead of Abraham saying there's no way, he worshiped God. Remove the negative words of "I can't" and put in positive words that glorify God. Instead of self-sabotaging, self-project. Instead of destroying yourself, build yourself up. Bartimaeus shouts to Jesus. The crowd tells him to stop, but he doesn't stop because the only thing that can stop him is the motivation that's coming from within. Zacchaeus wants to see Jesus, but there's a crowd in front of him, but he doesn't stop because the only bad thing that can stop him is himself, because what comes from outside is not the problem, but what comes from within. The thoughts people have of me don't stop me, but the thoughts I have about myself can stop me. Their words don't stop me, but mine can stop me. The words from outside only have power over me when I let them into my heart and mind. From then on, they gnaw away at me from the inside, self-destructing me. That's why Solomon says, "Above all else, guard your heart." The problem is when you let the words from outside get inside you. What sinks the boat is not the water outside the boat, but the water that's inside the boat. Example: someone who doesn't forgive, she is more damaged because she's the one who suffers. She's the one who doesn't sleep and gets angry, keeps remembering the circumstances and ends up getting sick. This is self-sabotage. Keep the door closed. Don't let negative words have access to your essence. In your life, the events around you, leave them on the outside. Don't self-sabotage. Commit yourself. When you have an ideal and don't commit to it, you start to self-sabotage. Example: a woman who wants to get thin, but after the gym gets home and eats sweets and fries, is throwing all her effort to the ground. She's self-sabotaging. She wakes up and says, "Today I'm not going to the gym," or "Just today I'm going to eat this chocolate cake," or "this pizza." She automatically is sabotaging herself. And instead of improving, she gets worse, or gets no results at all, and in the end ends up frustrated and giving up everything. You decide to be more spiritual than earthly and decide to fast when you wake up. But when you wake up, you see breakfast on the table and leave it to fast another day. Self-sabotage. You want to be full, but when you wake up in the early morning, you'd rather sleep than pray. Self-sabotage. You need to make commitments to your ideal, your dreams, and your goals. Lack of will. You can't do things just when you want to. We're flesh, and not every day we wake up excited and with desires. The flesh cannot dominate you.